Hello, I am Pastor Horace Douty in Lexington, Virginia, and each Sunday I bring you a Bible meditation by way of YouTube, and I encourage you to subscribe to Horace Douty, D-O-U-T-Y, YouTube, and also to share these lessons with people you love and your neighbors. I appreciate that. Today, the title of our meditation is Out of Nazareth. And the quote is, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" That's in the Bible. From the beginning of human history, neighboring communities have enjoyed disparaging and criticizing each other. We seem to be born with a need to feel that we are not quite at the bottom. Somebody else has to be inferior. Now, in Jesus' day, his own hometown happened to be the victim. In all likelihood, Nazareth was no worse, no better than 100 other villages, yet, for whatever reason, real or imagined, Nazareth gained a bad reputation. Other people loved their popular quip, "Can anything good ever come out of Nazareth?" It made them feel superior. And the correct answer, of course, is yes. Out of this little Nazareth came a genius who turned the world around, Jesus. He did it without mass media, without television, radio, newspapers. He quietly talked to people about the simple lessons that he learned in the garden, the marketplace, the hills surrounding his home, and the small school and church of Nazareth. Yet, his influence causes you to label this year as 2023, that many years since his birth, and all sorts of cultural innovations have come to us because he lived. Hospitals, universities, cathedrals around the planet have blossomed in his name. Millions of people call themselves Christians and are strengthened by this one man, Jesus Christ, who came out of Nazareth. Are you aware that where I stand today once shared the reputation of Nazareth? Civilized settlers east of the Blue Ridge smirked as they called this area, this wilderness, the back parts of old Virginia. Children were taught to quote, nothing good can come out of the back parts of the Old Dominion." Were they correct? When Nathanael asked, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip answered with 3 words, "Come and look." I invite you to do the same. Look at what happened in these back parts of western Rockbridge County and Virginia. Out of all proportion to wealth and population, inventors, scholars, world-class statesmen, heroes emerged around a little mountain village called Lexington, Virginia. One of the first was a person called William Graham, educator, pastor, and he taught rough country boys classic Latin and Greek, mathematics, law, religion, and a new course of his own design, which he called mental philosophy, and eventually merged into psychiatry. William Graham helped right here in Lexington. He helped Thomas Jefferson write the Declaration of Independence. He founded a little school known as Washington. Well, it was first known as Augusta Academy, then Liberty Hall, then Washington College, then Washington and Lee University, a long series of steps upward. And it was from the first more of a seminary than a college. And from that institution has come a steady stream of leaders in every profession, and it continues today. One of them is Archibald Alexander, who was born only a few yards from where I was born, over here at the base of the mountain. And at age 24 became president of Hampton City College, and at age 40, Alexander founded Princeton Theological Seminary. Jane Todd, as a girl, lived right out here on the west edge of Oak Ridge. Why do we remember her? She volunteered to have her abdomen cut open by Dr. Ephraim McDowell on his kitchen table in order to remove a large tumor which had never been contemplated before. Unheard of procedure. And these two Rockbridge County natives who had moved to Kentucky ushered in a totally new branch of medicine, internal surgery. And if you've ever undergone an appendectomy or any internal surgery, you owe something to Jane and Ephraim. They started right here in the back parts of the frontier. They changed our world. So did Dora Armstrong, who grew up just west of where I'm standing in Dry Hollow. She became a medical missionary in the Congo, and there in the jungle, this little country girl, as she called herself, invented a substitute for milk, which saved the lives of thousands of infants and is doing it to this day. To the natives, she was Mama Obunga, sent from heaven. Matthias Rapp, who lived a few miles west of here on Buffalo Creek, in a village which still bears his name, created a new water-powered wheel which lay on its side instead of standing vertically aside a stream, and that turbine produced more horsepower than the old-style overshot water wheel and altered the milling industry and power plants forever. There are many others from these back parts who impacted the world. I think of William Taylor, who preached his first sermons at Hamilton Church, later Hamilton School, and ultimately went from Rockbridge County to become Bishop of the African continent. And Hamilton School stands out here on the west edge of our county. And Uncle Bob Hamilton built and donated the church. It was a church at first, at school. He called it Coonkin College. And his contribution was probably spurred by a guilty conscience. He never went to church. He didn't believe in that. He preferred fox hunting on Sunday. He made up for it by building Hamilton Church, which is still standing out there. I think of Abraham Sowell and all his illustrious descendants who lived in the west part of Rockbridge County. That family, mostly gone, spread out across the world, the United States. Without the Savills, there would not have been a Palmer School or Palmer Community Center. And yet, that is the first rural high school in our part of the world. We would never have heard of Diana Saville and William McCorkle, whose love story will melt your heart. I salute the Leach family, also on the western edge of our county. They made, 100 years ago, made orange juice a staple on the breakfast tables of our nation. John Steele, one of the colonial settlers, salvaged a church, even though he was never a member. The Leach legacy continues today. Watch the Canadian movie American Trinity to see that family at work and worship, visit their dairy to witness the cows being milked robotically. And remember, all of this is happening in these back parts, this Nazareth. Reverend Harry Myers, the great-grandson of Reverend Daniel Blaine, who was pastor of Oxford Church at one time, Harry became a missionary to Japan, and he impacted the nation by taking in an orphan named Kagawa. That orphan is the Japanese genius who became one of the most brilliant world leaders of the 20th century. The back parts made an indirect impact on Japan. William Armstrong grew up there on Collier's Creek. His eloquent writing softened racial tensions across the nation and the world. Clarence Tardy went from Jane Todd's home place on Toad Run to Washington, D.C., where he gained prominence in the nation's Department of Agriculture. The list is endless. Breathe deeply. If you are in these back parts, you are inhaling the same air which produced heroes and heroines. Long ago, the citizens of Nazareth never dreamed one of their own would divide world history into BC and AD because nothing good could come out of Nazareth. Don't fall for that mistake. What happened in Nazareth may be happening right now in your back parts. You may be one of our world's heroes. God bless you. Amen.